See that? That's ice. Is it cold over there?
The word is refreshing. Refreshing, my friend. Actually, I'm looking for a piece of flint that we could use. I'm sure there's one here somewhere. And that might do the trick. Kind of dull though, I need something sharp.
Why are you looking for flint?
Oh, because I got to show you the new flint strikers. So this right here is an old-time flint and steel. Now I picked this up at the Rendezvous, and it's just a piece of hardened carbon steel, and you get yourself a sharp piece of flint, you give it a strike, makes a lot of sparks. They work really well. In fact, this is how people made fire since about the Roman times, the Iron Age, up through today. You know, friction fire is great, it's fun to do, but this is a lot easier and a lot more long-term. And this thing is impervious to the elements, it's weatherproof, it's waterproof. Unless you lose it, it's going to work for you. Now, this is the going standard for a long time. And one of the things we like to do over here at Merkwares, at my company here, is we want to bring back some of these old skills, bring back some of these old techniques, make them more fun, make them more accessible, because they're still relevant today, and they still work great, you know, when you come out here in the wilderness. So I am honored, I'm excited to introduce to you our new line of custom flint strikers. And let me pull them apart one by one and then show you them up close. We got the American Bison, we have the Rattlesnake. Both of them are based on traditional patterns, so they're very easy to use. We've got over here a little pendant with bear claw, the arrowhead, one of my favorites is the horse, and then we've also got, for you fishermen out there, we got this nice little trout, and my favorite, the one that I carry in my hat, is the little dragon. I've got these strikers set up like a necklace, which is a great way to wear them. They're fashionable. They look really cool. It'd be a great accessory to anybody's you know, possibles bag or pouch, or just carry in your pocket. But let me show you how I like to carry mine. The back of my hat is my little dragon. See him right there? And so, in addition to all the other methods I have for starting fire with me, I've got him with me all the time. Just pull him out right there. Now I also carry a little bit of chert stuck in the hat band, but for these demonstrations, I got a nice piece of chert right here. What's nice about these little strikers is that they are professionally heat treated, and they're made out of high quality carbon steel. Much higher quality than anything that was made by the pioneers, and theirs work just plenty fine, so you know that you're getting a good quality striker out of this. Now the way that flint and steel works is this metal, this carbon steel, it wants to rust, and rusting is just a slow form of burning. And so when you hit it against a sharp, hard piece of rock like a chert or quartz or flint, it's actually shaving little microscopic pieces of metal off of the striker. And those microscopic pieces of metal have so much surface area to their volume that they mix with the oxygen in the air very readily, and that little bit of friction that it gets when you hit it off the rock is enough to cause them to ignite and causes them to actually burst into flame as small as they are. And that's why you see the sparks. So when I'm going to strike this, I'm not going to, you know, that doesn't work. Or, you know, it's not like the modern fire flint and steel where you're sitting there. I see that being done too. That's not going to work either. What you have to do is you have to come down and just scrape it at a high rate of speed like so. See all those sparks being thrown? And what I like to do is I like to catch the edge of the steel, because the metal's thinner there, you know, on that corner, so it's easier to scrape off larger sparks. Pretty cool, huh? I found these two stones just in the creek here. I don't know what they're made out of, but they're sharp, and they have a little bit of a smooth texture to them, almost like the ceramic. You know, they don't have that sandstone or granite composition. So I picked them up, again, because they had a nice sharp edge, and I tried them out. And these, they throw sparks. We'll try this one over here. That throws sparks as well. And so, while they're not as good and as sharp as this piece of chert, which really throws sparks, they still do the job. So as long as you keep your eyes open and you bring your flint striker with you and you just try out different stones, you can most likely find something in your area that'll work. But again, you know, if you want, just go to my website. I got some good pieces for you. What I want to show you now, though, is what type of tinder works with a flint and steel. So I'll get this here ready and we'll get the camera up close. We are going to make another video a little bit later on how to actually make charred tinder, charred plant material, char cloth, and so on. In the meantime, though, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that show how to make this stuff. In fact, if you get a chance, check out Keith Burgess, his channel. He's just an expert on 18th century living. And while I was researching how to make these, I learned a ton from his channel. Many of you are familiar with char cloth, okay? And all char cloth is cotton cloth that has been turned into charcoal. And there's a bunch of different ways to do that. Again, I said we'll show you how to do that later. But the way I like to light char cloth is I hold the stone so there's a little concavity here and the edge is pointing upwards. Because what I want to do is as I bring this down, it's going to bounce those sparks into the char cloth, which I can then use to light a tinder nest. So here's a water cloth, holding it right so. I like to get the ragged edge where the spark can catch, because that usually goes first. So here we go, and there we go. No problem. Can you see that? I know I have to blow out the side of my mouth because I still can't control this half of my face real well. It's getting better though. Time will tell. So that's char cloth. See how easy that was to light? And you let it go out in the creek. Now, the thing is back in the day, cloth was really hard to get. It was really valuable. And so you didn't make char cloth out of something that you could use as a rag or a worse rag or a carpet. So only the very worst of cloth was used for char cloth, and that was used in the home because it's so easy and convenient. However, when you were out in the bush, most people carried a little char tin like this, and they would put punk wood or other charred plant materials inside here. This is just some dry rotted wood, and again, we'll show you more about this later. And for this, you have to change up your technique. Instead of striking down with the striker, I'm going to switch hands, and now I'm going to use the stone, and I'm going to strike. I'm going to hit it with the stone if I don't drop it in the water. I'm going to use the stone to actually try to cast sparks down into my tin. Now if I do this right, we'll have an ember. If I do this wrong, I'm going to dump my whole tin in the water. We'll see. So, get a good edge. Oh, I already got it right there. 1, 2, 3. I like to get a couple places going. Can you see how easy that caught and how that's burning right there? Here's the biggest ember on that side. That coal is going on its own. It's beautiful. I don't have to do anything to it. I'm going to let it get a little bit stronger before I blow it in the flame so I can show you a tinder that very few people ever consider. So I'll set this aside, and right there. This is 4/0 steel wool. I think it's the finest steel wool you can get. You know, why do I have it? I use it for doing woodworking projects or whatever, you know, cleaning pots and pans. But this is to show you that the spark from a flint and steel, if you have the right technique, is hot enough to even ignite this. It might take a few tries, so let's try it here.
It's already lit.
There we go. Look at that. Look at how that burns. That's steel wool. Okay, so here I've got a little tinder bundle just that I gathered on the side of the creek. Here's my my tinder can that's still going strong. And what you would do, if you had the char cloth, you would just put the char cloth in there and blow it in the flame. Same thing with the steel wool. With the tinder can or tin, you can actually just put this against it and blow. And it really doesn't take much to get this thing going, but because my mouth is so floppy, you know, again, I got a little bit of paralysis going on here. Got another method. Here's another piece of dry punk wood that I'm going to turn into an ember and put into my tinder bundle so it's easier for me to blow on it. Got my punk wood lit. Now I can close my tinder tin, my fire tin. What's nice is it's kind of warm. I can put it in my pocket, it's a little pocket warmer. And I'll take this, and this is my nest that I already made, and stick it in there. And so this is a little bit easier for me to blow. This is falling out. Get some air going to it. Almost. Flame. At least for a second there. That just shows the principle. All it needs is more air and it'll keep lighting up and going out, but you get the idea. So we're done with it. We don't need it. I'm going to toss it in the creek. And so, fire from Flint and Steel. We have these flint strikers available on our website at emberlit.com. And for those of you that can't find a piece of chert readily, we also have these little, chunks like this for sale, just 50 cents or so. But now you have a really fun way to start fires, a way to engage people, a way to get the conversation going around camp. And I honestly think it's a little bit more manly than those sissy matches. So save those for freshening the bathroom and get yourself a nice Flint and Steel from Workwears, from Emberlit. So, we had to stop to charge the battery halfway through, but thanks for watching. If you got any questions about our Flint and Steels, feel free to drop us a line through the website or join us on Facebook. And just again, there's so much fun to be had out there. Come join us and learn how to do so. Catch you on the next one. Toes are getting cold. I should put them back in the water.